should you buy a new or used vehicle to live in? If you are considering being a nomad, downsizing your life, and living out of a vehicle, whether the vehicle is going to be a car, van, RV, whatever, I live in my Jeep Renegade, whatever type of vehicle you're going to live in, one of the decisions you have to make, are you going to buy a new or used vehicle? In my opinion, buy new. Buy new. If you buy used, yes, it may be cheaper and you may be able to pay it off for, but there is going to be an unseen maintenance cost. And if you average out that unseen maintenance cost over time, your payment per month would be approximately the same thing as a reasonably priced new car. And when I say reasonably priced, I mean a new car $30,000 or under. And you should try to be under $20,000. But in that range, let's just say $20,000 to $25,000, you should buy new. You should buy new. Maybe put a couple thousand down and buy new. Unless you are willing to deal with the anxiety, the stress, and the unforeseen mechanical breakdowns. There's no saying, you want to be one of those people that played a lot of, this old lady drove it to church only a few times, blah, blah. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. You know how many old people lie? Just because they're old don't mean they're telling you the truth. Listen, in my opinion, do what you want, and everybody's circumstance is different. But I want to live as stress-free life as possible. There's always going to be some stress, and I want the less anxieties as possible. I want new. I don't want to have to deal with someone else's old headaches. I want new, and if I have a headache, I want to be able to bring it back to the dealership and say, hey, look, this is your headache, not mine, because it's still new. It comes with a cost, but like I say, if you stay under 30,000, try to be around 20, but let's just say you're around 25. If you have a job, most people, I would hope you have a job because, like I say, even if you live out of your car, you still have to have income. So I'm not advocating, live out of your car and just, veg out. Some type of income. And if you're older and you're retired, if you have a stream of income, with Social Security, whatever it is, you need to be doing something productive with your life, whatever it is for you. That being said, you should have some source of income. Then you need to budget in. I mean, you just cut, your living expenses. If you're paying $1,500 of rent or a mortgage, if you have a $500 car payment, I mean, you cut your living expenses in more than half. So don't be too cheap. I mean, how much if you have a apartment or a mortgage and it's $1,500 a month, and now if you buy a brand new car, it's going to be a $500 a month payment. I mean, you just cut your monthly expenses by $1,000. So at some point you have to say, look, I value not having headaches with mechanical breakdowns. I'm willing to pay a little bit more rather than, maybe you buy a couple $1,000 beater van and you have this like exotic dream of you getting wrenches and you working on something, or you have a boyfriend, or you have somebody that's mechanically inclined, a family member, whatever. You want unhealthy relationships, then you ask somebody else to do the work and you get the materials. If you want to have an unhealthy, family member, then you burden them with doing your mechanical work. I don't even care if it's changing the oil. You need to go to Quick Lube or whatever you need to go. Boundaries. Healthy boundaries. And that means buy new. That way you don't have to burden somebody else with your mechanical breakdowns. You don't have to bother your father. Your father don't want to do fucking change oil anymore. This guy worked his whole life. I mean, he don't want to change oil. And you probably don't even like your father. But you're playing this manipulation game just so he change your oil. You understand what I'm saying? I'm giving some comparisons that may not apply to you, but you know what I mean. I advocate, in most circumstances, there's always individual circumstances, but on average, I advocate buy new. Buy a new vehicle. Part of this lifestyle for me is to diminish stress. And I think if you buy used, you are buying somebody else's stress. On average, there's always exceptions. But the majority of people that trade in their car, they can't take this shit anymore. The car isn't for them. It's starting to break down. There's lights coming on at the dashboard. The tires are bald. Brakes are going to have to get replaced. They don't want to do it anymore. Take this shit back. Give me a new one. You're grabbing somebody else's shit. You know the people that go to garage sales? I mean, they're buying somebody else's crap. And those people who buy that crap, that crap doesn't help them. It ends up sitting in their house or a storage unit. People who go to garage sales, in my opinion, on average, have a mental disorder of hoarding, whether it's the extreme hoarding you see on actual TV show, or if it's a slow, beginning stage of hoarding where you just like collectibles. And it's like the same thing with a used car. You have this dream that you're getting this great deal and it's cheap. It's cheap for a reason. Everything in life is priced accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not getting it cheap because you're getting a great deal. You're getting it cheap because nobody else wants it, so they got to sell at a certain price to get that shit off their lot. Buy new, in my opinion. There's always exceptions, and you know your situation better than me, so I do not want to tell you how to live. I am sharing with you my opinion, my perspective in how I live my life and what I personally recommend based on that. I know somebody who had a job. They always buy used because they don't have the credit, and their used car they buy is always breaking down. I mean, like every few months they got a problem. They can't get to work. They got this problem. They got that problem. I mean, if you don't have good credit, then you have to do what you have to do and you can't afford it. But if you have a decent job, and if you sell all your debt, if you sell your house, and if you don't have the debt burden of a monthly rent payment, when you go to the car dealership and they see your income statement and they see that you have no, fixed debts or mortgages, more than likely, you're going to be able to get a new car. And that's what I recommend. Whether it's a car, van, and for most single people, I recommend car, van. I do not recommend RV. RV only if you have the money, but that's a huge depreciating asset that if you decide to get out of this lifestyle, if you do a nomad for 6 months and decide to leave, that RV, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with it? All right. So that's why I recommend car, van for most people. If you do want to get an RV, that should also be new, but don't spend too much. Don't spend too much. And if you got a family and you need a bigger one, there's something else. And I'm talking about people who want to live full time, not for weekend warriors. People who already have a house, they want to keep their house, and they want to buy an RV or van to go camping on the weekends. That's the whole different set of people. And they are accepting higher level of expenses for their own personal lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am talking directly to people who want to downsize their life, who want minimal expenses, and they want minimal stresses. What I'm saying is buy new. Do what you want. That's my opinion. Stay inspired.